get ready for no sleep because it's gonna happen. Your work schedule will be all over the place. There's never a full set schedule when you're an entertainer. It's just, things come up, gigs come up, and you gotta roll with it. You gotta be ready to just, I remember on my first record being introduced to this business and the whirlwind of my first record being a success and taking off. It was just like, boom, it's that jolt of like, okay, here we go. Before you even know what's happening, it's like, you're booked here and here and here and here, and the demand's like all over the world, internationally. It's just like my first time with that being, I get nauseous when I'm jet lagged. So it was just like, it takes a moment for your body to really adjust to that kind of a lifestyle and that kind of a schedule. And it's hard. And, getting no sleep and having to perform is tough. There's no two ways about it. It's a bitch. And nobody likes it, but it happens. You have to learn how to adjust your body and roll with it, and this is a lesson that you might learn. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have, stayed up that late. Maybe I shouldn't have drank that extra coffee after dinner. You got to get tips from those around you maybe to help manage how your body and get to know your body and how it reacts to that. But just be prepared that sleep is something that will not come easy. So my ultimate advice through whatever you're going through, as you're learning, as you're growing, as you're maturing into your artistry, from get-go, just keep a journal. Keep pages of notes and thoughts and feelings, even if it's a little handheld notebook. Jot things down that make you feel something, feel anything. But the more you write to yourself, the more you come home from a long day and you have an emotional day. It doesn't have to be in poem form or lyric form or anything perfect. Just write to yourself. Write your stories as you go. If it was a bad day, if it was a great day, if anything that moved you or penetrated you or made you feel something, if it angered you, write all of it down to yourself, and this will become your center and your foundation for the artist that you're building in your journey. Research things, be interested, watch old movies, watch old singers, the way they move, the sound and textures on an old record, how it scratches, how it feels, get into all of that. Just be a student and just be a sponge. Learn, take it all in. Your instinct and your gut will be able to filter out what you don't need and what you do need, because I believe that everything happens for a reason, will stay with you. And it's so important. I have diary entries and things for, ideas of songs even to this day from my first album, and reflecting on that and looking back. It's so important to keep in touch with yourself. If you're out there and you're faced with, sort of being forced to do records you don't want to do, or, I was 17 at the time when this was happening, 16, 17. So I was still developing into the person and artist that I wanted to be. Am I going to play this game, and am I going to give them what they want to hear? But if you listen to the first record also, you still hear elements of me. It's a younger version of me, and it's a more restrained me, but there still are elements. I would squeeze an ad-lib in there when I could, or feel something with a little bit more of a soul twist on it if it was a straight pop melody. Come On Over, it doesn't get more pop than that at the time. It was definitely not the painful, soulful place that I was inspired to sing from. But, sometimes you do have to play the game. Trust your gut, trust your instinct. What I can say to you, and what I always find to be the best thing ever, is keep writing to yourself. Never lose who you are. Stay in contact with yourself, because the more people you encounter whether it even be people you consider your close friends or even your family, everybody's gonna have some kind of advice. You're gonna get it from teachers and vocal coaches and label people. Everyone's going to have an opinion about you. So you're gonna be pushed and pulled and twisted and turned. At least I was. But whatever you do with that, you cannot lose your own spirit and your own sense of yourself. Keep in touch with your gut and your instinct as far as how you like to sing, because that's just what I did. Everybody has a hate club, basically. And, you know, it's important for you to realize that you can't let the negative in. You have to live for you. And, you know, even in coming up, it's like, oh, if you're gonna be famous, you have to be a role model and this and that. Like, that goes against having a freedom of expression and opinion. You know, you can't live for anybody else but yourself. And you can't mold yourself into an artist or a package that's fit for, you know, everyone's taste. You will go crazy trying to please everybody at the same time. It's impossible. So it's so important just to do really what makes you feel comfortable with you. So I literally am so for, and I tell the kids, anyone that I interact with on The Voice, they're thrust into this whole world of exposure, and they're not used to, you know, receiving all this attention. And I just, little by little, if you're in the game long enough, I see their self-confidence sometimes get smaller and smaller and smaller. And that's what I mean. It's such a mental game, because I watch these talented kids who come in so strong, and they might get, you know, all 4 buttons pushed for them on the show in the initial blind audition, and they come in like champs, and they're ready to go. And then the more they hear and read the stuff about them online and criticism, it just breaks my heart that I can see their spirits breaking. And you gotta block it out. You have to know how to be mentally and emotionally prepared to be able to tune it out. But now, you know, it's harder to even live by that, because in social media you get a lot of commentary. You get you're subjected to a whole world of opinions, and mostly opinions you don't want to hear. And the more important thing to be said here is that you don't need to hear. You know, sometimes it could be maybe your best friend, and she's just not understanding a song that you just wrote that might be amazing, but you know, it's one little thing like, maybe you should change that line. And for some people that don't have a strong sense of self and are easily swayed, that might kill their whole spirit, to be like, maybe I can't write anything. And you get really insecure. I've seen that happen to people, and it just, you know, decide for yourself that you're not going to partake in the negativity that's sometimes projected at you. And usually the people that actually have the worst things to say wish they had your talent, or wish that they had some sort of expression. Because when you have things going on, you don't need to talk negatively about anyone when you feel good about yourself. Just remember that. Putting a lot of pressure on yourself can be a real disadvantage if you're being too hard on yourself. If you're pushing yourself to the point of, okay, you're exhausting your capability of it even being this beautiful, great thing that lives and breathes as its own magic. You know, you're actually doing yourself a disservice by getting yourself so worked up before, say, a performance. So you want to make sure, and I've learned over the years, it's been kind of a struggle, you know, and you know, exhausting myself for the perfect take and the right thing, and is that the right way, and second guessing, you know, your best because you're like, oh, it's still not reaching my level of perfection that I have in my head. And, you know, I used to be really, 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 really hard on myself as far as getting the right notes and the right feelings. And as, you know, I worked with different people and artists and producers. And one of the examples I always give is how Linda Perry was a turning point for me, and realizing to let go of some of that, you know, that pressure that makes you want to sing every ad lib correctly, and put pressure to sing a high note perfectly. I mean, there are so many different ways to approach a vocal, and your stylistic approach could be, anything. So it really is most pure when it's honest. It's all a game, and it's all, it can be a strain and something that hinders you, or it can propel you forward and motivate you.